law enforcement. The Fed in a two-day meeting on whether to raise interest rates again, another quarter point. 27 states are fighting the new Biden mortgage fees for people with credit scores over 680. Senator Roger Marshall on Mornings with Maria.
What the president wants to do is punish hardworking Americans and add an additional fee for those of us who have saved money, who have good credit scores, who pay off our credit cards, to subsidize subprime borrowers.
The senator calls it a tax on the middle class. Hollywood writers on strike, charging they're working more for less in the streaming era. Late night shows are already canceled. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm Stephen Curry.
I'm Steve Kerr. I'm Clay Thompson.
I'm Draymond Green.
I'm Kevon Looney.
This is where the Warriors play. KSRO, Santa Rosa.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Changes in store for many of the shows that keep us laughing and entertained, including late-night talk shows. Writers for the popular TV shows and studio scripted productions went on strike today after a breakdown over pay when it comes to streaming platforms. ABC's Matt Gutman has more on the Guild's first strike in 15 years.
The Writers Guild has described this as an existential moment, and it's worth noting that the Alliance of Media Companies in those negotiations last night said that they offered generous increases in compensation for writers, and ultimately they are fully committed to reaching a mutually beneficial deal. But if the last strike is any indication, it could be a while.
President Biden calling for a sit-down at the White House next week with congressional leaders to work out a deal to raise the debt limit. The clock is ticking toward a June deadline when the U.S. is expected to default on its loans. Illinois police still investigating yesterday's deadly pileup on Interstate 55 near Springfield. 6 people died, dozens of others injured. ABC's Stephanie Ramos is near the scene.
Officials say the dust was stirred up by excessive winds blowing dirt from farm fields across the highway. The visibility in the thick of the storm only a few meters and was made worse by the smoke caused by fire from all of the crashes.
Even before the pandemic, health experts say loneliness was a growing concern. Now a national warning by the U.S. Surgeon General, calling isolation and lack of connection a public health crisis that's just as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. ABC News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Jennifer Ashton.
Think of loneliness now on par with sitting or smoking. It has been associated with increased risks of diabetes, stroke, heart disease, dementia, death, you name it. And the Surgeon General really sounding the alarm on this.
The Federal Reserve's two-day policy meeting getting underway today could result in more interest rate hikes. You're listening to ABC News.
Imagine getting ahead of your irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C by treating it with Linzess. Then you could start proactively managing your constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine what could relief from IBS-C mean for you. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
The so-called godfather of artificial intelligence is calling it quits at Google. Dr. Jeffrey Hinton is now advocating for regulation of AI to prevent, he says, bad actors from misusing it. And he's not the only name in tech calling for oversight.
Elon Musk tweeting just yesterday, even the benign dependency on AI automation is dangerous to civilization if taken so far that we eventually forget how the machines work. Elon Musk and hundreds of tech experts released an open letter back in March calling for AI to be regulated. As for Dr. Hinton, Google commended his work and said the company is committed to a responsible approach.
ABC's Lionel Moyes. Good news if you're planning to hit the road this summer. Gas getting cheaper.
We're very gratified by the admission of the school that there are things that they could have done and should have done, including the intervention of adults.
The Energy Department reporting in the past week regular unleaded went down 6 cents to a nationwide average of $3.60 a gallon. Analysts say if oil prices stay where they are and the uptick of demand increases, the summer shouldn't be dramatic. Legendary Canadian singer-songwriter Gordon Lightfoot has died. Lightfoot, his more than six-decade career spans, including the song If You Could Read My Mind. He was 84. This is ABC News.
Staples has everything to help small businesses do big things. Shipping supplies and services so you can fill big orders. The latest tech so you can create the next big thing. And now during Staples Small Business Seal Day, when rewards members spend $100 or more, they get $30 back in rewards to use on big things, little things, or anything they need. Plus, find new deals in-store every week on tech, office chairs, and shipping supplies. Because for small businesses, Staples knows savings are a big thing. Rewards offer ends 5/13, limit 1, redeemable in-store only.
Michelle Francis, ABC News.
We know mornings are busy. We're here to get you what you need as quickly as we can. The big breaking stories of the day, weather, and traffic. All of the information you need to start your day. Sonoma County's Morning News, making sure you're prepared for whatever the day might bring. Weekday mornings at 6. Wake up with KSRO.
Sonoma County's FM News Talk, KSRO, at 103.5 in Santa Rosa and 96.9 in Petaluma.
I'm KSRO's Daniel Tricios with Sonoma County's most accurate, most dependable forecast. Possible rain, maybe thunderstorms today. High of 60 degrees, 55 along the coast. Wind speeds will be light. Possible rain then for tonight, low 46 across the county. Could see some rain for tomorrow, be on the light end if any. High of 66. And partly cloudy skies then Thursday through Saturday. Temps topping out in the mid-60s. Depend on weather every 30 minutes. On FM News Talk 103.5 and 96.9 KSRO.
Welcome to the latest moments of the Brian Kilmeade Show. Alan West and former Vice President Mike Pence will be with us. He wants to be the next President of the United States. He hasn't formally admitted it yet, but I think he will. Maybe today. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, we'll take your calls, and you can write me, BrianKilmeade.com. And always, you can do that 24 hours a day when you have to listen to the show. Sometimes people want to tape it. Sometimes people want to get on the podcast. That is your option. We have a lot to discuss. We also have another balloon over this country. Could it be the notorious Bottle Cap Balloon Brigade? The 12-year-olds that had an F-16, scrambled to take it out last time. Could they be striking again? We'll have to see. It's a hobby club, and they've been a problem for quite some time. So let's get to the big three.
Now, with the stories you need to know, it's Brian's Big Three.
Number 3. What, in fact, is his income from his artwork? We want to know how much money he's made from the artwork and who the buyers are. That's the most important part. Who the buyers of this artwork are. We fear they're the same ones that were laundering the money into the LLCs, particularly the Chinese Communist Party.
It could be, because we don't know how much his art goes for. We're talking Hunter. And we don't know who's buying it. Baby mama drama. A tone-deaf, arrogant Hunter Biden appears in front of an Arkansas judge to plead down his child support payments for a 4-year-old girl he won't acknowledge. His lawyers get a cold reception from the judge, how this financial disclosure could increase the heat on his family.
Number 2, when it comes to illegal migration, you've seen it come down by more than 90%, and that's because of the actions that this president has taken. But we know that more action needs to be taken, so it has to be legislative action.
KJP, signs are ominous that the blitz at the border is just weeks away as illegals line up for a surge like we have never seen before. This is the manhunt continues for a killer here illegally who just murdered 5 in a drunken rage and then escaped. Next.
Number 1. President Biden called all 4 congressional leaders on Monday and invited them to a meeting next Tuesday here at the White House to discuss the debt limit. This new alert from the Treasury Department is only adding to the pressure to reach a resolution quickly.
Deadline is a red line, it seems, and suddenly the White House will meet with the Republicans to avoid defaulting on our debt around June 1st. Other red lights, flashing lights on the economy, too. We'll discuss it. So this is what happened. Yesterday they announced, Janet Yellen says, receipts are down. That means people aren't earning as much, paying as much taxes, even though this president has jacked up taxes everywhere. So they said, Janet Yellen looked at the receipts and said, wait a second, I think we're going to hit the debt ceiling a lot sooner than I thought. How about June 1st? at which time the red alarm went off, and suddenly Joe Biden breaks the silence and contacted Kevin McCarthy, Hakeem Jeffries, and Chuck Schumer, and we'll see Mitch McConnell. All the principals are going to go to the White House on May 9th, and they're going to try to work something out. The problem is the president put himself into a corner. Why? He said, I'm not dealing on the debt ceiling because these are bills already spent. But the debt ceiling is in existence in order to debate how we stay underneath that ceiling, raise it, but use it as an opportunity to reform. Americans know the Congress works best on a deadline. This is a deadline. This is a ceiling. This is a chance to go in and cut. Instead, we are spending. I think this president's going to spend $6 trillion this year. We're bringing in $3.5 trillion. That's in his budget. So come on, it's not even on the auspices of a balanced budget. Senator John Kennedy on the sudden change from the president. Cut one.
That's a good thing. Yeah, sure, it's progress. I mean, President Biden has said repeatedly, I'm not going to even negotiate and talk about a debt ceiling increase, and I won't agree to any conditions, and that's just unrealistic.
Yeah, John Kennedy in a quiet moment. No puns thrown out there. Finally, but it doesn't mean that when they get together, Biden's not going to open up by saying, by the way, we will not do anything prior to the raising of the debt ceiling. Raise it first, then we'll talk. But already they're looking at the 230-page proposal that the House passed and saying, oh, they want to cut veterans' benefits. They want to cut Medicare or Social Security. No, they talked about things that need to be looked at, but no one wants to cut veterans' benefits. But if you used to want to score political points and have CNN and MSNBC parrot what you're saying, you come out and say something like that. Here's Britt Yu, cut 5.
This is what you call making peace with reality. A lot of the coverage and commentary I've seen lately seems to ignore the fact that the ball is no longer in Kevin McCarthy and the House Republicans' court. It's in the Democrats in the Senate and the White House's court, because McCarthy's right. The House did pass an extension of the debt limits. So now it's up to the Senate. The Senate needs 60. In the Senate, they're going to need 60 votes, which means they need Republican votes to pass something. Until then, they really don't have a leg to stand on in arguing that it's the House Republicans who are being reckless on this.
So true. So we'll see where it goes. He goes in and just deals. He pledged to do this. It's got to be more than a handshake deal. And then he's got to go back, and the House has got to sell it to their right. And Kevin McCarthy won them over in his sincerity. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. All the pressure went back on him. I was reminded that John Boehner lost power because he wanted to do a debt ceiling raise unconditional, but when he went to the House, he could not get the Freedom Caucus to go along. So he dealt with Barack Obama. He really had no power. He couldn't even say, I can deliver my party. So let's talk about something else. Let's talk about flashing red lights. You know, no one's asked me to run a bank. Probably don't want to. That are serving a bank board, you probably won't ask. But I have noticed that the irresponsibility of these bank boards, as well as these bank presidents, and the oversight, nobody's doing their job, led to the second biggest bank failure ever. And it happened at First Republic, bought by J.P. Morgan. They paid $10.6 billion. They take over all these 80 branches in 8 states. They'll take $173 billion in loans, $92 billion in deposits. I'm sure it'll work out. But then what bothers me is J.P. Morgan also laid off 3,000 people. Wait a second. You bought all these banks, and expand your portfolio. You really have to lay off 3,000 people? At the same time, the Fed says it looks like they're going to raise rates. All right, so the rates go up, inflation stays the same, another mid-bank failure. Excuse me if I'm wondering what really is going on here. So what the White House says, the NFIB, Vice President of Federal Government Relations, says if the White House wants to help small business, they'll immediately abandon their plans to raise small business taxes. And the fact is that as big business and big banks struggle, so do small businesses, and this administration doesn't seem to understand the connection. Just to finish, small business continues to face economic headwinds and expectations for better business conditions 6 months from now, while bringing in historic lows. What did President Trump do that was so effective? This tax reform actually did a favor for small business. 80% of all our businesses are small businesses. That's why the economy thrived. Pandemic hit, spending got kicked in, and now Trump is looked at as a big spender. Yeah, he could have cut more? Got it. But remember, Congress gives him the budget. He wanted more for the wall. He got the budget he got. He went back and signed a couple of omnibuses that were jammed down his throat. But the bulk of the spending money was the pandemic. That is a huge thing. Now I have Republicans even blaming Trump as a big spender. That to me is not accurate at all. But it did raise the debt ceiling with absolutely no problem. We got good to raise debt ceiling. Let's not make this dramatic. 1-866-408-7669. I'll have more on this. Talking about this immigration disaster and talking about Hunter Biden. Why this is more than just a problem with a kid out of wedlock for the family and especially for him. His judgment continues to be absolutely awful. His instincts terrible. His lawyers ridiculous, but expensive. When we come back, the racism charge from the mayor of New York to the governor of Texas. That story with Alan West next.
Politics, current events, and news that affect you. Brian's got a lot more to say. Stay with Brian Kilmeade.
Did you know that premium American whiskey has been the investment secret of industry insiders for generations? Spirit Capital Corporation has developed an investment instrument that now allows you to participate. Cash investment fees, or CIDs, are secured by newly filled barrels of premium American whiskey that some experts say will steadily increase in value as they mature. Industry results indicate that fine whiskey as an asset class is outperforming Wall Street, outperforming gold and treasuries. And CIDs are achieving double-digit returns in just 3 to 5 years. American whiskey has never gone to zero. Even during the Great Depression, whiskey tripled in value. Get in on the ground level. Call 1-800-988-8070. That's 1-800-988-8070. Or go to Cascades.com. That's CASKDEEDS.com. Paid for by Spirit Capital Corporation. Individual results may vary. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Consult with your attorney or financial professionals before making an investment decision.
Be more cyber zen. Get NordVPN. With a few simple clicks, NordVPN will block online trackers, secure your devices from malware-infected downloads, and block access to malicious websites. With NordVPN, enjoy internet without trackers, without malicious websites, without malware-ridden files. Be more cyber zen. Take advantage of our special offer now at NordVPN.com.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you can cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need. Indoor, outdoor, repair, or redesign. And we handle the rest. Sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
Sonoma County's morning news is on first. First with news. First with weather and traffic. The first place for morning news. Starting at 6 a.m.
Sonoma County's FM News Talk, KSRO, at 103.5 in Santa Rosa and 96.9 in Petaluma.
Sonoma County's FM News Talk, KSRO.
Everyone knows that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? You often hear from More Home Services, and that's especially true when it comes to your air conditioning system. A precision tune-up and professional cleaning costs a little bit up front, just $88, but will prevent much bigger, more expensive, and inconvenient problems later. We actually replace systems all the time for people who don't get annual tune-ups. They either forget, or they just don't realize it's important. So instead of their system lasting 12 or more years like they should, they need to be replaced in just 6 or 7 years. Don't risk it. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Call More Home Services for an $88 air conditioner precision tune-up today and keep your system clean, energy efficient, and in good working shape. Our number is 707-505-8000 or find us online at morehomeservices.com. That's 707-505-8000 or online at morehomeservices.com.
Edward Billion and the team at the Center for Spiritual Living continues to create a world that works for everyone. The Center Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa invites you back with 2 identical in-person services each Sunday at 9 and 11. From 10 to 11, visit the art show and Stepping Stones Books and Gifts. You can also view services on the website, Facebook, and YouTube. Go to cslsi.org for more information and updates. Attend